Let's not get delayed any furthermore. Let's what I think. Um, one of these. This directory is. Hello, hello, hello. Is it breaking down? Hello. Considering it's not breaking down. Okay. Let's barge into day one. So what's day zero? What we are doing in day zero? If you have seen that, you remember from yesterday's episode. Basically, it was a quick, very quick, and a small try to see how a Madman project was working. Right, there was a slight miss by me. That was I did add. Yeah, I did add the database, but the miss was that I was querying the database, but I didn't do any endpoint that was like getting the data from the front end of the HTML to the database. Right. That one thing was left. Any more thing that I expect is like minor things, not a huge major thing that was left by me. Considering you all have done your math on project, so you might be able to memorize a few bits from these three endpoints. Right now, what we do, we like start off with day one, and in day one, let me
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
Sir, can you please turn on noise cancellation on your side?
as cancellation is on my
Actually, your voice is a bit cracky like that.
yeah, noise cancellation is on.
Oh,
It might be something like I was speaking from the past 1.5 hour. That could be the reason.
okay, sir.
If you want to. What do you see? Is it better now? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir, it is better now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Got it. Like how bad it was. It was like, do you not hear me at all?
Actually, some voices are clear and some are not.
Also, oh, but So as I was
Now
saying
it's
that,
fine.
hello,
Yes, sir. Now it is fine.
I thought someone was speaking. Uh, so as I was saying that with these three endpoints, it might be a quick or small uh, like boost to remember back what was Mad One, how we were started off, like how we started ourselves off with Mad One, right? I'm not like as I was saying yesterday, like I would be like recreating or creating a copy for this day zero and starting off from there. Then let's start a new and a fresh directory so that it's like see we haven't done anything in that one, so nothing to start off with that project. Rather, let's start fresh and clean for day one. That is our backend. Okay. We are in the virtual environment. Is okay, good to go. This one. Rather day one, let me do something like Avalon, right? In here, what do you want to do? The same thing from class to code. What class is fine? Do we need render template? What do you say? That's fine. That's off now. As of now, I have built a very basic class. Uh, how we were doing yesterday, basic class app, so that I can see and consider that yes, whatever or however way that I'm going forward is okay. The same thing I am doing again, that app dot route, and that's the index route. Let's let's not do the index route, rather do something like uh, hello 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 world. Okay. So let me shoot. So let me shoot a small, very quick question to you. That is, if you have gone through the problem statements, or you might be aware that there is a bit difference in between your Mat 1 project and Mat 2. That is regarding Mat 2, you cannot be like having your endpoints render template, right? Rather, it should be in a API format. So consider this thing. I wrote an endpoint in this app that is currently on my visible on the screen. What do you say? Is it a valid MAD2 endpoint or is it still MAD1? Like if I have that in my MAD2 backend, will it be a valid thing to have? Like, will it be an API? What do you say?
Yeah, it will be mad one.
Will you MAD1? What
Mm.
others? If you are not able to unmute and speak, please give me something in the chat box. Let's see. And I want it from Abhishek, uh, Lohit, Alam, Amit. Let's see. Matt one, Matt. What do you think?
I guess it's Mad 1, Mad 2 both, sir, because these APIs we need because for the back
No, I'm just asking, is it an API or is it like, how would you term it?
API, sir.
Okay. Lohit, Alam, Amit, three, one. Join in. Considering only two are active and documents only two. Okay. So that's a valid endpoint and that's a valid API too. What do you say? In MAD 2, you are asked to build APIs, right? What APIs does? Does it render a template? No. Does it transact with data? Yes. Is it transacting with the data? Yes. Does it need to be in a single format? Okay, like single format as in, uh, is there a specified format for the data that is returning or data how it is returning? No, right? So it is returning me what? It is returning me a string. Is it a valid thing? I say yes, it is a valid thing. It is not a hard and fast requirement that yes, you have to return it in a JSON format. No, of course not. Can be in XML format. What if I am just using an API just to send me a file? Yes, it is valid. Right? So it's in a valid format. Okay. Again, the thing that you have to do it's to pull a RESTful API format. Let's see. Again, okay, sorry. So from class, again, let's do something with this. Hello, hello. Rather, what am I saying? I say that both the endpoints are valid. Now, just for the sake of having all the APIs respond in a similar or in a standard format, what will I do? I'm just going to change it a bit. How? Let me say. I just want to return it as a JSON. And both are valid, both are fine. I can keep it in a different format. That is also possible. No worries to that. But what am I saying? Let me have an standardized return format. Okay, for all the endpoints. Right, for all the APIs. How am I going to do that? If you are aware, JSON is similar to a dictionary object, right? It's also an key-based data structure where we store data. Right? Now, what am I going to do is put it put this string attached to a key in a JSON object. Okay. How can I do it? Just to do it in here, I would define a dictionary from okay, create a key for it, for example, message, and what we have to do is attach it to that. It seems like that we are returning a dictionary object, but when we will be going and checking that out in the front end side, it's a JSON object, right? Basically, it's like a bit, uh, what do we say? Like it's similar to dictionary object. So there are cases where you are basically defining a dictionary object, but in the back, whenever you are uh, interacting it through your clients, it's like returning dictionary. Right?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you saying?
No, no, one second. One second.
Okay.
So let's give it a try. Let me just restart my app. And from boost my you guys do I'll just let's check if it is running. No. So look at most it's hello and it's like a definitely a string. Like if you see through the raw format, you can say that it's a string only. But if you check hello world, uh, it's hello world capital. So, so this is a JSON object, right? Review or from raw, you can check that out. Next thing, uh, if you remember, let me add another input. Realize something. Let's complete. And for example, there's an uh, path variable. In, consider this again. You might have done it. If you have used path variables to process something out, to update something, that's an valid thing you have done. Same objective is that I just need to show you guys that is also again that's just the same thing that we're doing over here too. So what am I saying? I just restart it, restart it, go down over here, and it's like green. It's just the sake of things. It's giving me hello instead. And if I just want to have it as a JSON object, it would become like same again. Give another try. So I'm not going to send and here's the thing. Okay. Uh, let's try to get it. See, yeah, it's working now. Next thing would be so I have to take a slight detour from here. Okay, let's have a quick detour. That will be very good. Let's go to day zero. In here, we had three endpoints, right? One was the index endpoint that was returning a string. Another one was a about endpoint that was returning a static HTML, and finally, there was contact endpoint that was again rendering out a HTML template rather than only rendering it out. I was like querying the database and populating the page. Right? What if I have something right and contact endpoint? How would you have done it? She take the basic example. You might have done something like contact, and there could be something if you will output the methods. I'm not sure but if you have like constituted into a single endpoint. Basically, what am I trying to say is that there would be an condition where if I do a get request, I will be seeing an HTML page that will be having a form, right? And if that form submits the data, that is whatever that the user is giving to it, it will do what? It will basically post it back to the backend server, right? It could be a different email. For example, if I do something like an sorry, not an email, but an endpoint. So what am I saying is, what if there are two endpoints? Right? One could be uh, what? Mm, So contact ID and contact page. Another could be add contact. So contact could be basically whenever you are doing a get request, it will be rendering out the template, and the form will be sending the data to add contact or endpoint. Right? What did I do? I merged up both into this one. Again, it might be possible that you guys have doing this, but just again, just for the sake of comparison, I'm saying. Okay. So if request dot the get, then what am I doing? I am rendering out a template that is named as add contact and contact dot html. Now here's the thing, I am getting an error. And why is that so? Request is not there. I need to get request. Still I'm getting a problem. Tell me what's the error and why am I getting that? Anyone jump in? Let's see.
Is it because we did not have anything for post? We mentioned like methods in get and post,
Mm,
but
no,
we
no,
didn't
no,
use it.
no, no. Let's see. It's gone now. Why? Okay, it's nothing. Let's tell she want to say something. Then there is one more problem. If you see, the indentation is off. Still, it is giving an okay. Good. Let's. I also am expecting something different over here, but no worries. That's right. No worries. Let me give it one more. Even it is not visible for me too. If I was getting that error. No worries. I can give it a fresh try. And that's that is possible. And we are adding a different um, contact. Okay. Oh, uh, actually, you can omit this error as of now. That's not for you guys. You can skip that part. Overlook that part. Something else. It's HTML5, and what I want to do is something like a form, right? Uh, Form. It's and set as post. There could be what what feature what's what feature we have. Even this form. Tell me one thing. What do I write in this text? Guys, we say just
We need to take some input from user.
mm, action. Yeah, we need to take some input from the user and send it back to the database. What should I write or what should I fill in this action wala fee? I'm so facing both the screens on my screen.
Endpoint
Where is it?
Endpoint. Yeah, endpoint.
What do I write over there? Exactly.
slash
Add.
add contact.
Yes. It is like whenever the form, if I click on the submit button, it will be generating a post request and it will be sending back the post request. But to where? I want it over here. So it's done. And if I give it a try, it's on the data link. So just that try from. If I do a get request, what will I be seeing? As you can see, contact. Oh, my bad. My job. Long app. Us. Oh, changed it. Okay. So this is the page that we'll be seeing on our screen. Right. Now, thing is that let me give it a try. Let's see what would be the output or what thing that I will see on the screen. So I write my name and something else for phone number, add contact. It says 403 error, request could not be satisfied. That is not request. Okay. That is not allowed. But it should say that it's not handled. Anyways. Ah, to find the browser points. Is it is it where's it? What the heck? So it's looking at the wrong. Anyways, I don't look like. It's fine. I need to set the screen up to me. I know today's is a bit low. It's a bit understood. So the change from here. The resource me what I want to say. Yes, that is fair. That is because I haven't handled it over there. Now let's see. Let's do it. No, there is one more problem that is in add contact. I wrote add underscore that one. Jeez. Something just number and that is fine. Even I can check that out. It should be also there that I can check that out from network. If I click on contact, it is sending me a request to where to this underscore add contact. So it was not refreshed, right? So I need to save it again and refresh it multiple times. And now if you give it a try, it will be visible from here. That is something. It's on now. Add contact says 404 again, and still it is sending me to add underscore contact. That is because of a slight problem that I might have done. That is in here, I didn't do debug to be true. Okay, so it's not getting restarted whenever I save it, and I'm expecting that it is visible and it is done. So I restarted it manually by force, and if I give it another try, I expect I will see correcting now. That is over here, add contact, and it is sending me to slash add capital C contact, and it is sending as a post request. But it says internal server error, and that is fine. Okay. And here's the thing. I'll just go back to this one and do something like if request is post, then what am I doing? I'm just capturing the total form data. Data is the form, and from data, I'm just getting the name and number. If not, I'm returning something else. I'm creating a contact and say committing it and saving it. Okay. Let's see if it is doable. So what I have to do is restart, right? And here give it a try again. So it set contact to be true because of the browser behavior where the request was captured in, and whenever I refresh, basically it sends me the post. So okay, let me give it a fresh try. Over here, it's my name and some random number. Add contact, and you can see it says contact added successfully. If I give it a try, you can check that out from the database that yes, the two rows were added. That is a manual format, right? Now, how to do it in a similar manual format? Can I do it how I like uh, compress it into a single folder? Is that possible? What do you guys say? That's not possible. What we say. That is because first thing, I don't do a get request where it would be rendering me at everything. Next thing would be, if you remember my app, there are I would say three methods for contact. There are two get methods and one post method. Why am I saying it? It is like not theoretically correct, but whatever that I'm saying is just for your understanding. Okay. So what am I trying to say? is that the first endpoint or the get method from that first endpoint. That is basically where we'll be seeing the details about the contacts, right? Next thing would be coming to this get endpoint, where I will be seeing a page so that I can facilitate the client with a way out so that he can send me a post request. But that is not allowed for the APIs, right? These for the RESTful APIs. So what you have to do, you have to skip that part. That will be handled by like the second get or that get that is over there, right? That I added right now, like today, will be handled by front end. There's a different uh, part which will be doing that for me so that the client can interact with my app. Okay, I'm not worried about it from the backend. Rather, what am I worried about is the get request where I was sending back the data, and another was the post request where I was capturing the data. Right now, if I want to do it in that way, so what I will do is app.route something like let's see, uh, do contact. No, let's do yeah, let's do contact. And for example, if I uh, do a post request, like copy paste this one, just change it up in here. First things first, this is not valid, not allowed, and even I'm only allowing single method. So like I can skip that if for lover, but it's okay. Like, next thing, what am I doing? I'm just sending whatever that was previously. I'm doing the same thing. I haven't changed it a bit. Okay, haven't done any change to it. Restarting my app now. What will I do? Basically, I want a post request that is sending me an HTML form data, and I want to capture it. As of now, I don't have a class. I don't have the DB, so it's like giving me an error. Rather, I would just change it up into print, and I'll be printing the name and number in the terminal. Okay. Save it, and so got started. That's fine. Now, how can I do it? I can do it from the Postman. Postman is acting as a total client to me, however way you want. Okay. In here, please aware that you have to use Postman like throughout your project until and unless it's complete. Even for the day when you are going for your Viva, you will be using Postman. So familiarize it with yourself. In here, let me do add contact. What's the endpoint contact? Okay. This mod C. So get is not allowed. Rather, what am I saying? I will be doing the job that was being done over here. That is in the HTML format or template. Right there in here. So what it is, only this part that I have selected right now on my screen, it was generating a post request and sending back to this endpoint, right? The same thing will be done. That is, whatever that is currently selected will be done by Postman. It will be handled by Postman. Okay. So the post request will be going to this endpoint, and how will it be a post request? Is get this drop down menu. There are multiple like, methods that you can use. I'm selecting post. Okay. Next thing, how can I get an HTML form body form data? Okay, that is from body. Go over here, body, select form data, right? And what are the keys and stuff? If you go back over here, this, what was I using? I was using the name, right? Same thing will be used over here, like name, and in here, right, whatever value that you want to add. Then there's what number, right? Whatever value that you want again, some random number. Okay. And if I give it a try, what do we expect? Let's see. Body is still there. It's like not visible there. It's still there. Send. And genuinely you can see that it is printing me, and how it was doing the thing for me is it's still possible. Still is possible, right? If you see, if you want to see the response, yes, it was a string. But there is something more. That is this after, like after the return statement, we are returning what? We are returning uh, a string, and after that I have added a comma and wrote some weird number. So what are those? Those are the HTTP status codes. If you want to see those, just write HTTP status code. Go over here in this website or else in the Wikipedia. Anything is fine. Let's go to this one. And you will see a long list of HTTP status codes. Right. So how will it be helpful is go through it wherever you feel like whatever return statement that you are using to like start a practice that you also return an HTTP slash code. It's a good practice to do. Would be good. Like for example, the two successful responses are starting with 200. Okay, if you go through it, there are multiple. 200 is fine. That's okay, but there are multiple more. 201. What should I return over here? Like for example, I'm returning 201. What is that? That is basically created. Okay. Now, if I ask you, what should I haven't done it over here, but I would have done it. Go through it. Like basically 202 accepted, then 203, then 204, then there is something as redirection. 30, what was that? Yeah, 308. If I redirect, like I'm sending a request, after that request is completed, it is redirecting me to a different endpoint. In that case, I might have to use 308. Right? Multiple other status codes. And how will it be helpful? It is not only a good practice, but it will be helpful. Like it will prove itself to be helpful whenever you will be like attaching your front end. Okay, we'll be checking that out on day 5 or something. Sorry, day 4 or something. But till then, consider it to be a good practice and try to add it to your endpoints. Right? Next thing, in day 1, what am I doing? I'm saying that let me, as I was saying, let me add something or let me include the database first so that I can proceed from this classical alchemy. In here, I can have the model. This collapse it. Yes, staying keeping our focus in day 1. It's like what? And if the app continues, that is it. Just the instance directory, and app context. I'm creating the database. How I was doing it is to restarted it, and you can see the database is created as of now. What am I saying? This endpoint needs to save the data. So for that, basically, I'm trying to save the data. Uh, there could be multiple other things that we can have, like a try catch blocks that goes, the correct direction. Save else. What am I saying? Saying that if there is a general get request, I'm allowing another get request over there. What will it do? How will it respond? Let me change this rather than turning a string. Let's change it to message. It's fine. Um, I got this one. Ah, I just turned it off. Once. Yes. One second. Let's go. Here's a gone and then start off from there. So for putting up, guys, basically what I want to do is in here, if I am getting a get request, this kind of get request will be majorly be what? I want to see all the contacts, right? If I am not giving out any idea specifically about that, but previously what I was doing over there was like I was in general doing the first, uh, like picking out the first row and sending it back. But in here, what I want to do is I want to send back the total, like all the rows that I have in my table, right? Contact table. Can I do it? That is, I need to share it as a JSON object. But as of now, let's start off with the first, and I'm gonna do it. If contact, then I'm sending back this format, this JSON object. If I want to do it, so I restart it and give it a try. That is, if I do a get request, send it back, I'm getting no contacts were found because the contact was not added at all. Rather, let's add a contact. Okay, there is one thing that I left. That is, if I send a request and check what was the response, contact was added successfully. From the database, you can see that yes, the contact was eventually added. Now, there is one more thing. As I was talking about that, yes, the transacting format, like data structure, I want to keep it same. I do not need to, but I want to keep it in a similar format. How can I do it? That I have done, at least for whatever response that I am sending back. Now the thing is that if I want to, if I want to say that whatever data format or data structure that I am using to send, like for making a request over here, we are making a request, right? We are sending the data to the backend, not getting the data from the backend. But in here, what am I doing? I'm sending what? HTML form data. That's fine. But what am I saying? Let's stick to the JSON type. So how can I do it? Is request dot JSON, and we are done. At least from the data side. Right. Next thing in here, how can I change it? Is I say in the body, we'll be checking everything out, like how we'll be doing it from the front end side and all. But as of now, consider the client or the front end to be our postman. Okay. In here, go to binary. Draw. Change it to JSON. Right. Start off with a curly bracket. Postman will help you to finish off. Right. In here, what you have to do is write name. That is the key value. And what does the key have? It is having a JSON object. It's like having a name. Add a comma. Basically, you are working in a dictionary. Think about it in that way. Number, and number doesn't stay in a string. Rather, it's in a like it's without the quotes. Okay, some number. Now, if I send it, let's see if I expect the same thing, same kind of response. Yes, I am getting that. Is it added to the database? Yes, it is added to the database. Okay. So what change did I do? That is from the backend side, it's a small, very minor change, and from the front end side, it's like I am reformatting or rewriting the data in a different format, right? So the JSON object. And if I'm doing a get request, what do I see? I want a JSON object. Am I getting that? Uh, yes, I am getting that. Just that it didn't show up. Okay. So this is the JSON object that I'm getting. Now I'm saying I have two rows of data and I want to see all the rows. How can I do it? I want it over here, in here. Okay. How can I do this? I have to make it as a list of JSON objects. Each row will be a JSON object and it will be shared to the shared as a response. Okay. In here, what I want to do, either you can choose any format. So for contacts in contact, rather printing it out, let me have it as a option. I don't need the color graphics. I would have kept it otherwise to that. And this is a JSON object, right? Uh, Now it's an object. Yeah, it's fine now. Next thing, I have, like I said, that I will be creating a list. So it could be something like an email list declaration over here. Start contacts. Let us keep it for the follow. Okay. Next thing, I want to add this JSON object. JSON for this into the list. What can I do is simply this dot happened, this of contact dot happened, this. Okay. And finally, in the return statement, what will it be? Let's do something like a print statement. Okay. Let's see what's the list of contacts. Save it, give it another try, restarting the server, and from here, if I am doing sending a request, this is what we will be seeing. That is, if you see, it's a list, and that list is having two JSON objects. If you follow whatever that I am selecting, two JSON objects as per the rows. Okay. Now this will be shared with the front end, share as a response. Like we go back in here, I want to add something more. So that's the list. Okay. In the return statement, rather I want to add something like data. In here, it's the list of contacts. Here it's search contacts retrieved successfully. Save it and let's give it a try. Restarting the server because server is already running. That's good to see. Now, if I send a request, this is what we'll be seeing, and that's a valid response. Okay. This is one format. Else, you can do something like an I forgot. Comprehensive or yeah, basically you just have to add it to the list. Thing I'm talking about is something like this. Uh, Let it be here. So now we can add it later on. This is one. So that is get and post. In a similar way, I can do put. But will I be able to do put over here? No, right? Why? You can, if you want to ask that. If not, that is fine again. There is something like uh, what do you need? If I want to update a field, it cannot be like without the ID. I need the primary key. Even it goes same for delete. Okay. I need the primary key. And there is something more. That is, if I have a get request, if I have a kind of a get request for a specific row, rather sending out the total data, I just want a specific row of the data, right? How can I do it? I again need the primary key. So I could have done it in a different way, but I'm sticking to this way where we'll be using that path ID. Okay, and in here I'm declaring the method get, put, and delete. Put represents update, delete is delete, and get. In here the get will be returning what? the specific contact. Okay. If not contact, I'm saying 404, it was not found. If I'm getting that, so I'm just returning the JSON object. Input, what am I doing? I am doing something more. That is request.json. If I want to update it, so what you have to do is you have to uh, you have to give the name and number. Again, it's not a compulsory thing, but it's a good practice to do. That is, if you are not getting those, so you are not updating. Right. And so- sorry, saving it, check the status codes. Something like created, accepted. It could be 202. You can go through it. You can like check that out by yourself. 201, 201. Just, that's 400. That's the not acceptable. 406. This is how we are like. I think no, this is too. Let's give it a try. If I'm sending /1 and get, so I will be seeing this. That is fine. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying if I do post, sorry, put, then I can update it. For example, send, and I did send the contact. Okay, it got updated. If I want to delete it, or if I want to add a new contact and then delete it, do that good contact was updated successfully. Basically, it said added successfully. It didn't get updated. Let's give you only. Now, if I want to delete it, how can I do it? Is if you check the ID, it should be 3, right? So what can I do? If I run 3, send, and it says contact deleted successfully. You can check it from the database. It's gone. This is how we will be creating the APIs or the endpoints as per the manual format. Okay. Now, there is something more that you could do. It's like rather doing this uh, path variable as in the ID. I could have done it in the body itself. Like I could have added it into this format and like proceeded from there. Okay. In that case, I could have managed to get put and delete in here and even get to in there. Right. But the thing is that uh, okay, even I can merge it to as okay. Anyways, let it be in this way as of let's not do it any more complex. Okay. But the problem is that I am not doing it. That is because what or however you will be interacting from your front end. Front end will be sending the request. It will be compiling the request and sending it back to the backend, right? That time it may be a situation where we'll be sticking to this format, and I'll be showcasing that to the first share. Next thing, starting here, we are done with at least with the basic transformations that we need for our backend, right? There is one thing that I want to do, that is models.py and shift it over there, except whatever part, like this part. over there. So it's like from models, port, DBN contact. In here, from Flask, alchemy, whatever is what it is. But just that I'm not passing the app instance over there. Save it, go back to app.py, and if I have to initialize that SQL Alchemy instance with me or with my Flask server, so what I have to do is db.init app, right, and pass the app instance to it. If I restart it, it will behave as it was, not a different, like if there was not a difference. Did I update it? Oh my god. Instance. I understand. So that was the simple implementation. There is something more. Even let's make it more structured. Right? If you see there's debug, right? If I want to remove it, how can I add it? Add it from here. App.config, and it's true, and the key is debug. Okay. You restart it, it would behave in a similar form how it was previously. Now, thing is that as I have removed the model wala part, I want to move this configurations into a different file. Config.py. Go back to app.py, remove these two lines into config.py. Now, if you are going ahead with the normal config.py, like I am not structuring it anyway. I'm just writing it down. So that is again possible. No worries to that. Like, I can do it. But there is something more that I should have done. That is go back to app.py. In here, what I want to do, I want to add this configurations into my application. For that, uh, as I haven't kept it in a structured way, I just wrote it down. So the thing is that how can I do it is import the total configuration file. Next thing app.config from object and you pass the total file. It will be handled. If I restart it, you can see without any error. Piece of cake. There is one more way, that is you keep this in a class. That's a good thing, a good practice. Class and config. You see, that's capital C config. So we are importing capital C config from where? From config. So basically, we are importing a class from a file. But the names are same, just that the case is. If I restart it this again, see, there is something more, just for the sake of absolutely. That is okay. Let's not. This is good enough. Good to proceed. So in here, I have removed some of the things to some other files. Even something more that I could have done, but I'll be doing it in a bit. But this is fine. What time? Once, what time did I schedule the session? It's 10. Okay, 30 minutes. Because you, oh, multiple people left us. If they want the recording, they need to stay in the system. That is, I'll be ending the session, today's session by adding something more to my application. Right? It still is raw as it was till yesterday, or like whatever that we have done. Same thing we have done over here too. Like you should have done everything, whatever that I have done. Just different format. Different format as in you're like responding differently. Other than that, in principle, whatever that I have done is totally same as Mat 1. Right? Now, thing is that what I want to do is add, like proceed with the next step, that is adding the security feature. You might say that you could have designed the CRUD APIs, then you could have proceeded, but it's how I like to do and how I suggest to do. That is, you have to implement RPAC, right? Yes, it like tomorrow, like whatever the next day would be, I would be adding the tables there. Okay, but I want to add some specific columns. For that, I would be needing RPAs. Okay. And that is how I want to keep my tables. For that,
Uh,
anyways,
Excuse me, sir. What
yeah,
is
no,
IPS?
what is
IPS or something you are saying?
IPS?
Security is something you said, no? Some key terms.
RBAC, 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 role based access control.
Okay.
It is role based access control. So, how will it be? Like, if you consider the scenario, if you go to your student dashboard, the same app is being used by the instructors, right? But if you somehow manage to get the endpoints, and if you try that out with your login credentials, right? Logged in credentials, will you be allowed? No, because you are restricted, because you are termed as a, basically you are uh, provided the role as of a student. Okay, so you won't be allowed. So there is a part of the app that you are restricted to. The same implementation we'll be doing over here. For example, we will be building the admin and the user, right? At least for your app. Over here, you will be building a part where the admin will be doing the jobs. But do you want the user to access that part? No, right? That is where RBAC implementation is required. That is role based access control. So that you can restrict as per the role. Okay. So for that, as I was saying yesterday, that I'll be using Flash Security. And just open up the documentation, and again, a suggestion, that is, I know AI is here with you, and as of now, as per today, it's like if you get a hand on a agent, it's like very easy to build a project, but you won't be learning anything. So it's a very good thing if you want to like, get yourself familiar with whatever libraries that you are using. Go through the documentations. Right? It's a mine to dig. Huge, huge. So many things are there. Like, and if you go through it, if you find the errors, if you find the methods that you might be using, then it would be like a best thing to have. You will be learning more rather going and checking out any YouTube video or any other resource. This is the best resource you can get for this library, and that's for true, right? Now from quick start, you can like proceed with. Okay, so what do you need for Flash security? The first thing is I want to add it to my virtual environment. Pip install Flask security. Got installed, and the next thing that I want to do is update the requirements.txt. So pip freeze That's not takes to I will check that out. I have some more. Till yesterday, I had till 11 libraries. Okay, I'm having 21, 10 more. Okay, now just to proceed from here, what can I do is you can refer to this one, but you want, I can like give a sample. One more. Okay, let's. I will be needing one more configuration over here. That is secret. Is please secret underscore key. Something like this. Go back to app that way. From here, from class security. What do I need? I need security method, and there is something more that is someplace else. I don't need it over here. Please someone so it's clean. Now, the thing is that if you go through the documentation, you'll find that Flash security needs three tables. Okay, one is role table, another one is user table, and if you are going through this formatting, then you just need to write this two down and you are good to go. But if you follow my approach, it's a bit different. We'll be like writing those things down. Previously, too, like it is after the updates, right? That they have configured it in this way. Like they are using SQL like tables, like pre-supplied tables. Previously, we had to write those down. Tables as in the database tables. So I need three tables for Flash security to run. One is a user table where the data for all the users will be stored. Next thing is a role table, that is, it will be having all the roles that are allowed for your app. As of now, if you go to the prompt statements, there could be at least you need two roles. That is, one is admin, another one is a normal user. Be it any problem statement, right? You can have multiple others, but these two are needed. So those two will be added into a table. And there will be a third table that is an association table between these two. So in the user table, you will be only be having the user credentials and any more details that are attached to a specific user, but not apart from that. So where will be the role allocation be done? Role allocation will be done in the association table. How is that so? Imagine this one as I am speaking. So in one table you have all the users. Okay, normal users. Everyone is a normal user, right? And in another table you are having the roles. Okay? Now, in the association table, what will you do? You will take every user and allocate a type of role to it, or to that specific user. For example, if I am an user to your app, okay, I might be getting some primary key. For example, 924. Okay, now you want to allocate a role for me. What do you want to allocate? You won't be allocating admin. Admin will be yourself, right? You will be yourself be an admin to your app. I will be getting an user role. So imagine this in your role table. If you are going ahead with only two roles for your app, in that case, your role table will only be having two rows. One is an admin row, second one is a user row. Row, okay, not role, but only two rows. But in that database table, in terms of the database table, there are two rows. Okay. Next thing, in the association table, what will you do? You will generate one more row, take the user ID that is 924 and the role ID that is for the user. For example, it is 2. In the association table, the row will be having what? The foreign key from the user table, that is the user ID, and foreign key from the role table, that is the role ID, and entry will be made. So the association between the user and role table was done. Okay, with this, the user will be getting a user role or general users role. Okay, right. How will it be done? How will it be handled? Everything will be done by Flash Security. No need to worry. You have all the methods in place with you. It's like very easy to set up and just proceed with. Okay, I'm just showcasing those. Uh, so as I was saying, process right? Class user, whatever, however name you want to give it, that's fine. So it's like you can have an username, email, password. This can be nullable and unique could be true. Email ID, password, I need both. Okay. And I want to keep both because I need to send the monthly report, right, to the email. So I need the email ID. Password is again also needed. There is some more fields that I want to have. That is, what is that? Login count. Then there is last login. That's date time. Current login. Last login IP and current login IP. These five columns are to track down a user. Then there is an active column, okay, that is Boolean in nature, and FS signifier. Uh, what's the spelling? Wait, I'm very bad with spelling, so please bear that for me. Yeah, that's correct. Oh, good job, actually. Like so, this first four, the next five, and last two. So how much it is? 4, 5, 9, and 2, 11. This 11 columns are needed. Even I would say that the most required columns I'm adding a hash to those. These are required without any say for class security to work in your user table. That is email ID, password, active, and FS identifier. Okay. If I go through it, this all contains what? Login count is how many times the user have logged in, number of logins. Last login was the time when it was like when the user last logged into my app, and whenever the current login is, it will be updated. So how it will be done? It will be totally be done by Flash Security. No need to worry about anything. Okay. And there are the IP addresses. Next thing is the active column. How will it be? It will be, in general, it will be set as true. But if you make it false, in that case, the user won't be able to log in. Okay, Flash Security will be restricting the user. So it's like a safeguard for you. If you want an user to be blocked, you can like change the active value to false. Okay. And FS unique where you can consider it to an unique key that is again, just for the sake of simplicity, I'm saying this. It will be handled, managed, used, and updated or generated by Flash Security. No need to worry. It is used by Flash Security. As of now, in terms of simpler implementation, you do not need anything more. Okay, it is handled, it is generated, and will be used by Flash Security, and it's done. Okay. Next thing is the role table. So
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
What about active? Can you please explain again active?
Active is a boolean. Okay, so it can have either, like, it's binary in it. It can either have true or false. So in general, whenever a user is trying to register to your app, okay, his active attribute will be set as true. So if a user's active attribute is true, then he or she or they can log into your app. Okay. If it is set as false, they won't be able to log into your app. It's an restriction. You are blocking an user that you cannot like log into my app. But you are a user to me. You just need to contact the admin, or somehow you just need to get your ID reactivated. It's a safeguard.
Oh, okay. So during register, it will be always true,
Yeah,
right?
it will be always be true. So the fields, again, the fields that you, if you want, like, if you are implementing flash security, then the fields that you will be needing to supply is this two, email and password, and it's fine. Anything more will be handled, like this seven columns will be managed by flash security. You do not need to do a thing. Manage field updated.
Hello, sir. Are you saying something?
Yeah, yeah. I was saying good. I was saying no. Like,
Okay.
it
You
will be
were
managed by
silent.
flash security totally.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Next thing is the role table. In here, again. Oh, okay. So just one thing. That is the ID. That's the primary key. You need it for all the tables. Right? Again, it goes the same. Role. That's the primary key, and the least needed thing is the name for the role. Okay. It cannot be false. Like, it cannot be null. And you can have a description. You can skip the description part, but it's fine. So there's two tables, and there is something more, that is class roles. Users, example. So what it is having? It's just having three columns. That is ID, user ID, role ID. You do not need to do a thing for this table. It will be totally be handled by Flash Security. No need to do anything. But how will it work if you write a relationship over here? That is roles, the relationship, and I'm, like, generating a role with the role table, a relationship with the role table, and I'm using a secondary table, that is an association table, that is roles underscore users. Right? And you are using backward stuff. If you add this relationship into your user table, again, everything, every association, allocation, any other thing, updation for this table will be done by the security. No need to worry. But just to do it, there is something more. That is from flask underscore security. I need to import SQL Alchemy user data store, user mixing, and role mixing. Now, user mixing and role mixing, you can submit as a as what, parent class, and you need to supply it to the specific tables. That is, for user table, you need to supply user mixing and role mixing to the role table. Finally, after we are done, we will be using this user SQL Alchemy user data store. Now, whatever for the past 15-20 minutes I am speaking about, or whatever technique, the time since I started class security, multiple times I have mentioned that class security will be handling most much things for us. Okay. Now, how will it be possible? That is, like, I am saying, interaction with this three table, at least for the general interaction, won't be done by class SQL Alchemy or SQL Alchemy the time being. What am I saying? I won't be touching these three tables. Three tables as in this user table, role table, and role user table directly. Directly as in SQL Alchemy. What is that? So if you consider, imagine a scenario of the data flow. What is happening? in here, I am sending some data from the front end. This one, forget about the get part, post part. The post part. What am I doing? I'm getting some data from the front end. As of now, it is the post part. That's fine. Just imagine the data. It's going through the database, right? But in between, what is facilitating the data flow? That is SQL alchemy in between, right? But still, if we consider that, we are just directly sending the data to the database, in database file with the help of SQL algorithm. That is fine. Now, for these three tables, what am I saying? I'm saying that I won't take that path. Rather, I will be taking a detour. Something like, for example, if you want to go from Kolkata to Chennai, you can take a direct flight. Else, what if you want to go to Trivandrum first, Kolkata to Trivandrum and Trivandrum to Chennai? That is also possible, right? In the final goal is that you are reaching Chennai, and that is what we need. But what am I saying? At least for these three tables, I will take that detour. What is that? I will be sending the data through this method, that is SQL Alchemy user data store that I am getting from Flash Security. So in simpler terms, I will be sending the data to Flash Security. Flash Security will be doing whatever stuff that it needs to be done, and will be storing that data into these three tables. By what? By this user data store. Okay. So after you are done studying the tables, what will I do? I'll create a variable or something that is user data store, and finally use this. So like initialize this method, that is SQL Alchemy user data store, and I need to pass a DB instance, the user table, and the role table. Okay, these three things, and I need to get that in my app.py, that is over here. User data store, right? And whenever I am initializing the Flash security wala method into my Flash server, what I need to pass the app instance, is the Flask instance, and the user data store. Okay, or the data store that I have just now made. And with this, like with at least with this thing, that is addition of the models and the statement, and finally in the configuration, the security key, sorry, secret key. I can consider that at least the final initialization, or mostly it's done. Okay. Python after py, and we start it off to start off without any errors. Right? Anything if you want to ask, it's already 10:51. So and if I am going for the login or register API, it will take me again 15 minutes or something, but I do not want to spare time. If you guys are okay, I can go for 11, or else then call it a day off.
It's okay for me to extend, no problem. It's up to others.
No problem, sir, from my end too.
Right. So in here, at least the Flash security initialization is done. And if I want to implement something more, the thing that I should do from here is that like, okay, consider the scenario. You are having your app, you want to register a user, right? What do you have in beforehand, before you register a user? What do you need? You need the roles, right? So whenever you are initializing your app for the first time, you should be having the roles. Right? Now for that, what you can do is something like uh, uh, something like this. That is basically, if you see this, or if you see how the Python file is being compiled, whenever I'm running this file, what is happening? Basically, it is going up in this downwards direction. First, it is basically it is creating the Flask instance, then it is initializing the databases and considering the configuration. Then it is what it is doing with app context. It is checking if the database is having all the tables as per my model or not. If that is there, then it's like proceeding, right? So you can see that yeah, those three tables were added. In a similar format, I can do something else. That is, for example, on line 14, I defined a method, user defined method. That is uh, create underscore roles. In here, what do you want to do? I want to use user data store dot this find or create role, and I want to add the roles. Okay. So what it will do? It is like both. It is checking if the roles are there. If not, then it will create this. One is admin, another one is user. Let it be general user or gen user or something. For example, let me user only. Again, whenever I say user as a role, it's a like user from the user table. It's a normal user as in without any role. Whenever I say user as in like, you just need to get my like you just need to catch the context from where I am speaking or what whenever I'm saying, so that you can get the user. One is user as in a user in the user table. Another one is a user as a role. Okay. Next thing I think return something or that is fine, I guess. Successfully. So that's a method. I can call it over here. That is create role. And if I restart it, what do you expect? Okay, there is something more that I was saying for so long, but I have missed that. So user data store. What user data store does? I was saying that user data store will facilitate us first to interacting with these three tables, right? Till what point? If you consider this post request, what am I doing? Like, that is for these three lines. One is to format the data in that uh, into that format where I can add it to the database, right? So first line is that. Next thing, I'm staging the newer update into my or newer row into my table, and finally committing. Basically, I'm changing like whatever stages was done. I'm just saving it. Okay, saving the database. Right. Now, what user data store does is that user data store handles these two lines. That is adding it to the database, like basically formatting it to the as the database and staging the change to the database. Now the thing left is to commit it. So you have to manually do it. In here, I have to write db.commit. Okay, and the rest two parts, like the rest two lines, are done by each single line. And finally, I'm saving the change to the database. Now, if I restart my app, I can check that out. I don't have anything in the role table. Press refresh. I don't have. If I run it and refresh it, let's see, the two roles should be added. Okay. This is the first thing that you want to have in your uh, application. Another thing is that there are some something more. That is one more method that is coming up. So that's define create admin user. If you remember from the problem statement, you cannot register the admin user, but whenever you are initializing your app for the first time, at that time it should be somehow it should be adding the admin, registering the admin, or creating the admin credentials, right? In here, what you want to do is if not user data store dot find user. Okay. Find user is what basically it's like uh, it's something like, for example, it's an example, right? User dot query dot filter by username, something like that, right? The same. I am querying the database, basically querying the database table with a attribute, right? The same thing is done with find user. For example, just querying it out with the email. Let's do well, if that is not found, then what will I do? So basically, why am I doing it in this way? Because I don't have an similar condition, like or similar method, all-inclusive method. So the user data store create admin. Yeah. For the username, then the next thing is the email. Sorry. And finally the password. Again, you may say that you're just writing down the credentials in this format, but is it safe and stuff? I'm not worried about safety as of now. So I'm just creating the credentials from, right? Now it is being staged into the uh, database table, right? Next thing, what should I do is db dot session dot commit, right? Now the thing is that um, have I done it totally fine? What do you say? Is it good to go, or am I skipping something? Just in the previous 15 minutes, I have said something that I want to hear again. I have created a user. Is it good to go?
I think role has to be added.
Yes, correct. The role has to be added. It could be added in this way, like as the relationship is there. So I can declare the roles over here, and I could be doing something like in this format. Like, else, I can just write the name directly, something like admin, but it should be in a list form. Else, there is one more way to do, that is over here, right? User data store dot add role to user, and you have to give the user instance, that is firstly the user, that is the new user that I just now have created, and the name. Else, how the formatting was done, that is user data store find role admin. Okay, everything is fine, and finally save it. If I give it a try, let's see. In my database, in the user table, I don't have anything. In the role table, I already have the role, and in the role user table, it's empty. Like no allocation is done because I don't have any users as of now. I'm calling this method over here. After again, after the roles are created, I restart it. Check the database. That user was eventually created. What did I supply? I just supplied the username, email, and password. Those are added. Primary key was again auto-generated. These 5 columns that are to track a user down are empty as of now because user haven't logged in. Active column is again auto-defined, so it's true. One defines true, and this is FSND pair and a hexa code. It's again auto-generated by Flash security. No need to worry about that. In the role user table, you can see an allocation was made. So user ID 1 got role ID 1. What is user ID 1? User ID 1 is the admin user, the user. admin user, and role ID one is the role, admin role. Okay, and those two allocations were done over here. Fine. Next thing, I want to shift something out from this file. You tell me one thing. There is an redundant thing that we are doing. That is, if you see this three method calls, is it needed? What do you say? Whenever I restart my server, do I need to have this? Tell me that.
First time alone it is needed, isn't it?
Yes. First time along it is needed because I expect that whenever I booted my app for the first time, I have my database created. Next thing, when my database is getting created, at the same time, I want that the roles should also be defined for my app. And finally, my admin users should be added automatically as per the run statement that says. Okay. So what can I do? I can call these methods in a different file. In day one, I can create a new file, do some name it something like db init.py. Okay. And what can I do? I can shift this to that file. That is in here from models import db and user data store. Just to good to go. Paste it and it's done. Now, if you see, this app needs to be there. So one way is that from Flask, I can import current app as app and it will be handled. Okay. Now, the thing is that how can I do it? For example, if I am deleting the database file, okay, database gone. So how can I create a database? So what you have to do is I shifted those in a different file. So Python, instead of running app.py, I need to run db underscore init.py. Okay, there's something more. Okay, so this won't work. So app, from app, I'm just reporting app, and if I run this, it's done. So it is being handled. You see, database is created. As of now, I don't have any contacts. That is okay. In the role, I have the roles declared. In the user table, I have the admin declared, and in the role table, the association was made. Okay, this is what we expect, and we freed our app.py quite a bit. Okay. Next thing, uh, okay, I am not stretching the session anymore. Rather, what am I saying is, whatever the next day that we are joining in, not most probably not tomorrow, but day after tomorrow. Today is today is Thursday. Most probably day after tomorrow. Most probably Saturday, but I'm not sure as of now. But I'll be updating. So on Saturday, what is the plan of action? That is to see how can I create the login endpoints and protect the login and register endpoints and protect the other endpoints. Okay, for RBAC and authentication. That would be like we will be spending what 15-20 minutes for creating the generating the endpoints, and even not that. Okay, I can do it right now. Give me 5 more minutes. It would take me 5 more minutes, not more than that, because we have seen the methods, right? So, for example, if I am declaring an route, that is upload route register, it's a post method, right? Why do we need to be a post method? Because you are sending me some data and I am just interacting with it. Okay? I'm just returning back something. It's not a get request. define register. In here, what do you want to do? Firstly, I want to get the JSON object, request of JSON. From there, I want to get the username, email, and password. If all three are not there, then I'm sending back a response that I need everything. Okay. Next thing, in a similar way, how I was checking it in here, that is DB init. If not, it is of end user. What am I doing? I'm doing the same thing over here. Basically, doing the check. I'm doing the same check over here. That is, if I can find a user with that email ID, I won't be proceeding any further. If not, I'd be checking that if I could find the if I could find a user with that email ID with that email, then I'm responding that yes, you need to the user already exists. The same thing for username too, okay? Because we need the unique wallet thing. If those conditions are fulfilled, then I'm proceeding for user, like creating the user. Next thing is like role allocation, and finally saving it and responding that user was registered successfully with the email. Also, I can share the email. This email was registered. You can share the ID too. So let's give it a try. This one. So what fields do I need? I need username, email, and password. And I can skip the email username part. For example, none. Oh, none on for might not work. We can give it a try. Let's see. I will check with you. Uh, so what do I have to do? I need to change the endpoint to register. Considering my server is running fine, I need to set it to post. I don't want to see the response as of now. Rather in here, but there is one more thing. Your JSON object can have multiple fields, like multiple keys, but the keys that are specified over there will only be considered, right? So in here, what you want to do is, I just want to write email. Email could be, for example, user1@apc.com, and let the password be the same, like user1. Okay, save it, like send it. We expect to see a user creation was done. Like 400. 400. Why did I get 400? Some error. Okay. Acha, I need that username. Okay. For example, if I remove the user, let's give it a try. Oh, I would have seen it from there only. My bad. From the response, right? Please provide user password. Let me give it a try again, and in the body is same as it was previously. Send, and it you can see the user was created. If I try it again with a different user, send, That's username already exists. So none was considered as a string. Okay. I cannot skip that. Okay, that's one. So it's a choice that you want to make. If you want to have the username and email ID both, so you have to get both. Else, then go ahead with one that is fine. Send it, and server is not coming. Send it again, and yeah. Basically, if we see the preview, we can check that out. It was created. Okay. In the database, even you can see two users were created. Over here, it is set as null, and null won't be considered because we have kept the unique to be true. Okay. And in the role user table, see allocation was also done. So user ID 2 and user ID 3 got role ID 2. Okay. This is how we will be proceeding further. Right. That's the registration annotations. Multiple more validations you can think about. You can add those. Apart from that, I want to get what another endpoint, at least for today. That is app.route login. And again, it's a post request. In here, what you want to do, the same thing as I was doing in the register, but a slight difference, that is, let's go ahead with email and password. Okay, stick to the basics. Uh, skipping the username wall of part, right? In here, what you need, if let's do the validation from here only. If not email, I'm returning, please provide an email. Same goes for password. If not password, and plus for again. Return statements as that. Okay. Next thing, I'm finding the user with the email ID first. That if that email ID is being registered with us or not. Okay. If that is a, so I'm finding that user. Next thing, what am I saying? If not user not found or something, then next step would be what? I got the user, right, from the data store. Next thing is that, is my password matching? Password as in the stored password and the supplied password. Are those matching? Again, consider this. As of now, I haven't hashed the password, I haven't altered the password, and I am using a string. So it's very easy for me to verify the password. So what can I say is user dot password equals to password. Then I say invalid password. Okay. Next thing, after those two validations are done, I got the user, I verified the password, the supplied password and the stored password. Now I can say that yes, the user is being authenticated. So the next thing, what I want to do is, as I said yesterday, I will be using token-based authentication, right? For that, what I have to do is, I need to generate a token, right? But apart from that, I added five more fields. That is in here to track the user. Where do I need it? I might need it for the normal operations, but I want it for that daily reminder and monthly reminder. Okay. Now for that, what would I do is from Flask security login user, and I'm passing the user instance to it. After that is done, db.session.commit. So what it will do? This will fill those fields, and finally I'm committing the changes. Okay. Next thing, in the return statement, there is one more thing. As I am doing that token based stuff, so I want to add a level more. That is, if user is not active, we are responding that user is inactive. Okay. We won't be going ahead from that. Finally, there is a return statement, that is login was successful. We are sending the user email, user ID, and after that, there is one more thing. That is auth token. How can I get that? I'd be using the same user wala field again, considering user was found by using user data store. Okay, so I got that user dot get auth token. Okay, and it will be generating me the authentication token that I will be using starting tomorrow. Okay, the next day. And finally, the role. How can I share the role? Tell me. That is one way. The easiest way is that what do I do? I found the user. Okay, considering my user is having a single role at a time. So how can I do it? Is role roles dot role zero. Basically, from that relationship, I'm taking the first uh, for the specific user. I'm just taking the first role entry, and from there, I'm taking the name. I hope it is fair. Yeah, that looks good. Sorry, it's user dot roles. Yeah, role zero. Yeah, fine. Save it and give it a try. I have registered a user, right? Registered two users basically, and both the users are having if to be true. So I expect that I can get something fruitful.
Can you please explain this roles once again, please?
So roles, how it is working. If you see the model, I have declared a relationship, right? I'm
Okay.
using that relationship, the SQL wala thing. So I can have like it's according to the principle. I can have multiple roles at a time. So roles should be always be in a list. So like it should be in a list. Okay. So what am I saying? From that list, I'm taking out the first entry, that is zero entry. And from that zeroth entry, I'm taking out the attribute that is name.
Okay.
Forget about the rest of the things. If that's what.
So
Simple.
from the list, I am taking the first.
Yeah,
Uh,
first entry. And from that first entry, I'm taking the first attribute, that is the name.
okay.
Okay, I can show you that. For example, I'm saying user.roles. I restarted my application, and if I give it a try, see what am I sharing? I'm sharing the email ID and the password to as a post request to /login. Send it, and this is the response. So for the program, okay. Okay, got it. There is one more configuration that I should have added. Ask me, like, please remember to ask me the next day whenever I'm doing this. Why did I do it? Like, remember this error and just ask me that. I don't have. I will explain it the next day.
Okay.
If I restart it, send it, you can see I got something. JSON not serializable. That is because okay, I can. What did I do? This field is not accepted. I can show you from here as a print statement. So user dot roles. Send the request in here. What you are seeing is a list. Okay. So that
Okay.
list is having what? From the role table, I am having that role ID two. Either way. That is role ID two from the role table. Role ID two. And how is that possible? That is because of the relationship that I have defined
Okay. Now
over there.
understood.
Yeah. So you can consider it to be run. the row object from the database table. So from it, I'm just taking the first entry, and for the first entry, I'm just taking the name. Save it, and if I give it a try, then it will be something like send, and this is what we are seeing, and that's the authentication tool starting there till this point. Now, if you see the database, there's something new that you'll see over here. Yeah, it's not done. That is, I said that I am using something more, that is this two statements to update those five fields, right? But it's not updated. Why is that so? Because of a configuration that we need to set. That is the security trackable needs to be set as true. Okay. Now, if I give it a try again, app got restarted. As of now, database is empty, and I am using user 2. Okay. Send it. The current login has no attribute. Current login at. It's a current login at. Okay, my bad, my bad. Oh, oh. The field name should be at. Okay, I should have done it in a proper way, but I am just using a trick out. That is at, at login at. It's not a trick, but it's an not allowed thing for you guys to do. That is, I'm just using the GUI to change the column name. If I give it a try, it should work for me. So what was there? That is different column name that I was using, right? I have fixed that, and if I send it now, you can see I was getting it correctly. But if you go back to the database in the user table, you'd see that it was updated. What was the current login time, last login time, both are same because of the first entry, first most entry, and even login count, how many times the user has logged in. What was the IP address? Last login IP address was not updated, and this was up to yeah, that will be updated, and this one is again updated as a local host, right? If I try it again, you can see the time got changed right now. Refresh it, you can see the IP address was updated and the time got changed. So it is using the UTC time zone most probably, and that is why I'm seeing this difference. Basically, it is 5 hours 56 minutes and 11 seconds, and this is 5 hours 56 minutes 47 seconds. Okay. So that is how we'll be tracking those down, and that's the login endpoint and the register endpoint. Okay. And okay, there is one more thing that I can cover right now. That is Flash security. From Flash security, I am okay. Let's not do it. Let's keep it for the next day. Save this, and till this point, we are like calling it a day here. I don't want. this was good. Oh, I guess. Did and I guess why is it there? Instances. Let's see the. Okay, so good to go. Okay, we'll update it later on, but let's call it a day. It's already a huge long recording. Stop it.